Hello everybody, it's your non-binary pal Gracious E.V.A here, and it's finally time! Gateways is now officially out on Webtoon and Tapas. I'm so excited to finally be able to share this with everyone. Like I said, I'll be posting new episodes on Webtoon and Tapas every other Sunday. I have found a way to post the app pages in their full form so I don't have to split the panels up anymore, but they're still not the best quality. So if you want to see the episodes earlier and read them in higher quality, you can subscribe to my Patreon. I'll also be uploading exclusive speed paints of the comic pages for the higher tiers. The full chapters will also be uploaded to my website once they're done being posted everywhere else. I've also gone ahead and uploaded the initial character artworks I made as prints on my shop if you're interested. And yes, Mysteries of Despair will also continue to be uploading as well every other Friday. If you want to know more about this series, you can check out some of my other videos. But other than that, thank you so much for supporting this series so far, and I hope you enjoy it. Hello everybody, it's your non-binary pal Gracious E.V.A here, and welcome to another chill speed paint video. This one is a redraw video, but it's more of a redraw of this drawing that I made of my character Chris in a very pastel aesthetic. I don't do this like every year like some of my other redraw ones, but I just do it whenever I feel like it. And I felt like this was the perfect time to redraw this one now, because I have drastically redesigned Chris. So yeah, I started this off with trying to choose a different pose, and I was having a bit of trouble sketching out the anatomy here for some reason, but eventually I got it, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with the pose overall. I had decided to make some changes to the initial dress design that I had, just because I felt like it suited Chris a bit more, and I also added a bunch of extra fancy decorations. I changed his hair accessory that he canonically has to have a heart in the center to match some of the hair accessories he had in the past ones. I changed his dress to be more of like a zip up sort of design, and I added a bunch of cool belt accessories, and also played around with the skirt design a little bit. Yeah, bunch of accessories that I sketched out that I knew I would draw in with the decoration brush later on. And the way I do that is I'll do that during the line art stage, and then I will color that in with a solid color, and then shade it in once I'm done shading everything else. And that usually only takes a couple of layers to do. And it did take me a little bit to get the accessories, I remember, just because I was being a little indecisive and wanted the charms and stuff to be in very specific places, so I had to readjust that. And the line art went well. I went with a little bit of a thinner look here, which I think kind of affected how it looked at the very end, but I won't talk about that until a little later. But yeah, as you can see, the heart little chain brush that I usually use is usually like a hollow out design, but I decided to fill that in. And I also got these cool stitch brushes that I used to add some details onto the dress itself, and I just used this triangle particle brush for the hair accessories on top. And then I went ahead and tried to figure out how to color in the charms. I used an overlay layer, and I went with a lot of pink and blues on this one overall. I changed some things about Chris's overall color scheme. I changed up the hair gradient to be a bit more blue to pink. And I laid out the dress colors by first laying down his actual canonical colors so I could get the values, and then I just changed the hue of everything and made it match. And I also used a more painterly brush to create some cool gradients on the dress and tights rather than an airbrush to give it a nice textured look. And then I started filling in his makeup and everything, base colors as well. So yeah, base coloring took a little bit longer than it usually does, but that's because I was playing around with a bunch of different design elements here, and it worked out pretty well, I think. And I eventually filled out his chains, his charms to have specific colors too. I went with blue, pink, and yellow, and then kept the actual chains to be like pink and blue gradients. And I think that looked really cool. Yeah, even though I was very indecisive about how I wanted the whole line art to look, I think it looks good in the end. I tried doing this thing, I'll talk about it a little later on, but I did actually adjust the final picture in the very end for a couple of reasons. But yeah, the background ended up just being a super simple gradient that I filled out. And I tried adding in the screen tone brush that I had used before, but I decided to do a little bit of different stuff, just some simple particles in the back. And the rendering ended up consisting of a lot of pinks and yellows and blues, just like how Chris is designed here. And I started rendering out the eyes first, of course, just for fun, because I like to render the eyes. Those are fun. Yeah, all the rendering went pretty smoothly. The only thing was that I think I did a little bit too much overpainting, because the final product, I do like how it looks, but it looks a bit blurred out. It looks a little too out of focus, which isn't usually what I want. I do like the overpainting look, but I do still want like a bit of a crisp look to my finished drawings, but that's alright. And like I said, I do actually end up changing some things in the very end after I stopped recording. I had realized that I think I added way too much foreground elements, and that contributed a lot to the blurriness, so I had to pull back a little bit. And I think that ended up being a good idea, because I think it looks a bit better. That is my only thing with this drawing that kind of irks me a little bit. It's something about it, it's just a little too blurry. And I also included the halo and wings, because he's an angel, and he had some of that in the original drawing too, or the second drawing at least. But yeah, that was everything for the original artwork, and I do have something else at the very end to show, but I will wait to talk about that until the end of the speed paint. Alright, so in the original video that I made, I had actually also made a little mini comic to go along with the artwork. It was very simple, just 2 extra panels, and it had at the time the original designs of Willow and Zach. But I've also drastically redesigned Zach, as you know, as well as Willow. I haven't talked about Willow before on the channel, but I plan, hopefully, to make a dedicated video about her. Hopefully soon. I have a lot of characters I need to make videos about, but yeah, hopefully I plan to make a video about Willow soon. Basic gist is that she's a Reaper Angel that's really into fashion and helps Chris and Zach out a lot, so yeah. And in this, I wanted to create a little mini comic that has Zach that actually found the dress for Chris, and it's originally theirs, but it's not anywhere near their style. Obviously, they're very witchy and gothy, so it's not their style at all anymore. So they decided to give it to Chris instead. From Willow's suggestion, they suggested that they could give it to Chris. So yeah, I'd actually drawn and written this entire script on my notebook, and I drew the thumbnails in my notebook too. just for fun. I thought that'd be cool, and yeah, it was. I definitely wouldn't do that for full-on comics, but for a little simple 3-page comic, it's fine. It's all good. But yeah, I had to have the reference of the original drawing up so I could figure out how to draw the dress. And a lot of these I forewent drawing the gradient too, just because I didn't want to. Yeah, as you can see, I kept the sketches very simple, just the basic bodies. This is what I do a lot when it comes to comics these days, to speed up the process. And then I can just focus on using vector layers for the line art so I can adjust anything that I need to, like I would for a sketch, without anything having to be too blurry. A little tip that I found out. And yeah, I think these comic pages are actually some of the first of me drawing Willow outside of the sprites and riff sheet that I made of her, so that's fun. And she's also the one that brought in the extra accessories that Chris eventually ends up wearing too. So yeah, it was this whole outfit ended up being a collaborative project, unlike the original one. So yeah, I'm glad I made this into a much fuller comic. Unlike the other ones, and it helped me to draw these characters in a comic format, because I probably won't for a while, and they might end up looking a bit different by then when I eventually do make a comic about these guys, which I do want to in the future. But right now, I'm very busy with other things, like Gateways, which you should read now. It's on Webtoon and Tapas. Go read it now. It's there. You can read it now. A little self-promo there. And of course, I had to add in everyone's hair gradients meticulously. I have a problem. Yeah, but I'll go ahead and let the rest of the speed paint play out, because there isn't too much else to say. I kept the backgrounds very simple. I think the most complex background was the very first page with Zach's room when they were going through their clothes. So yeah, I'll let the rest play out, and I will see you at the very end. Thank you so much for watching. This one was super fun. It did take a while longer because the comic pages actually took me a little bit to make. I kept forgetting about them, and then I eventually came back to them and finished them. So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this redraw. Gateways is out. If you want to see it, go read it if you want to. If you like the little comic that I made, then you can see more of my comic works on my page now. You can see them now. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, thank you to Gibbous for supporting me on Patreon. Like I said, you can check out all my other works in the description below. It's all on my link tree. You can check it out there. And yeah, that'll be everything from me, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!